Right, so ladies and gentlemen, moving on to the next session, which is a speech by an industry leader on how will education contribute to the future creator economy. I would like to call upon stage Dr. Chetna Sabharwal. Can we have a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? Director, Association of Indian Principals. Ma'am, please come on stage.
So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How are you feeling today? I don't see the energy in the room. Hello, Delhi Heights. Yes. Okay, let's do an exercise by the time if they are removing this. So what we can do is, when I say 1, you have to clap 1 time. When I say 3, you have to clap 3 times. Can we do that? Are we all educators? Do we have kids? So we can do that. So let's go ahead with that. 1, 3, 3, 1. Thank you. That was applause for myself. Okay, no, jokes apart. So how does this picture look? Beautiful? Grand? What else comes to your mind when you are looking at this picture? Just observe, and these are the skills I'm talking about. Thank you. All artificial AI helped me in that. What else? Yes. What else? Look at the minor details which I might have put here, if anybody can. Okay. That's actually right. What else? Thank you. So the idea here is why I'm talking about this, and this particular topic is very close to my heart, which is creator economy. How many of you use Instagram? How many of you use Facebook? Okay. How many of you are using Twitter or X now? Okay, right. And how many of you are using LinkedIn? Pretty much, so professional. So I thought so that all of you would be on LinkedIn, so you can connect with me on this name. And why I'm here today is to talk about that what futures looks like, because you are teaching either the school going or the college going. And I'm going to talk about, in next 15, 20 minutes if I have, about these people only. Because when I am not dabbling between the Association of Indian Principals as a director partnership and the founder director of Skills Reform, what I do is, I talk to the students of different age group, and one of my students is sitting here proudly. I think it's been how many years, Abhinav? 12, 13 years, so that's what. So the idea here is to, are you able to understand students? We are talking about parents, we are talking about society, but what about the learners? And we are talking about 350 million children in India. And that's what creator economy is about. This is what. Now, content creation, I'll give you just a kind of a purview of it, that what exactly it means. That I think all of you must be writing something or somewhere when you're putting your captions on different social media and expressing your opinion, or maybe some discussions, or maybe some comments on that. That is a part of content creation, definitely. And content creation, or the content creators, now it could be anybody who is 15-year-old or who is 70-year-old. That's the part. Now, explosion of content creators, suddenly I think the panelists who were before me, they were discussing about that, and some of the gentlemen said that we should keep the technology away from students. Is that possible now? And I had a lot of discussions with the principals and with the educators and the industry leaders about it. As parents also, you cannot do that. For 3 years, you have given them mobiles, you have given them tablets, you have given them computers, you have given them laptops to study. So they are habitual of that. They are the digital natives we are talking about, not the digital immigrants like us, because we were not born with mobiles in our hand. Most of us, right? Now, 80 million creators and knowledge professionals. When I'm saying knowledge professionals, so whatever skills you are talking about here, all covered in that. You can check on LinkedIn, there's a 13-year-old girl who's a chef, Vinshuka, and she has, I think, some million followers with her at 13. So what are you going to teach them? That's the question. And until we make physics and music together, it is not the responsibility of the government or the state government or the policymakers. It is us who are translating it into action, whether in school or college. Now, how will you do that? When we talk about creativity, what is the way we can actually teach creativity to a child? Any ideas? I'm keeping it interactive. Yes, sir. Experiential learning, right. What else? Activities. So what kind of an activity? How will I observe a child that he's having creativity or not? Is there a parameter for that? When a child comes to you asking a question, or when your student come to you asking a question, I'll tell you what creativity is for the students. How many of you have read news today? Anything? Okay, anything specific you remember from that?
A lot of TFC things are going. Arnav's journalist got arrested.
Okay. So I'm talking about, because we are talking the education industry, so I'll tell you the bizarre thing which has happened, and this is what I'll call creativity. Now, it's our responsibility to guide our students or learners towards the right and wrong, what to choose, when to choose, how to choose. Now, this news is shared by one of my friends right in the morning, that one of the students who was boarding a flight from Bangalore to Lucknow, he cried a bomb hawks in the flight. And do you know the reason why? He failed in his BTech exam. He's a first-year student. And it happened on 17th of February. The news came out now. So there was, now understand the consequences of it, that what this child has thought of, that he doesn't want to go home because the parents will be scolding him. So he just did that right at the spur of the moment in the airplane. And he said, the tagline or the headline was, I would rather sit as a terrorist in jail rather than going to my parents. What are we teaching? It's a BTech Bangalore University student. You can read the news, see, and that's where my question comes. That are we giving them the right outlet to express themselves and look at the consequences? When you say creativity, I think the most important part here to teach them is the decision making and the consequences. So are we taking those 5-10 steps ahead, giving them that kind of a creativity or critical thinking that they are able to think about it? Somebody raised the hand, so yes, ma'am. Yeah. Yes, we can. I mean, but then are you looking for solutions? Are you looking, because I'll tell you why. I'm a psychologist and I know mental health has been put at the back burner by most of the people. How many of you will send your child to me that, okay, yes, he or she is having a problem? It's not there. Nobody wants to talk about it. And this, I'm talking about the IITians also, and the people who are into the mental health as well. They will not refer their child to some other psychologist or a counselor. So, and talking about this, I think 7 or 8 students who were in USA, either they have committed suicide or they have died, or because of whatever reason. Now, the report which come from USA says that they don't talk about mental health, that what they are facing there, and that's the reason they either go into drugs or they just succumb to the pressure which they are feeling. I don't think so, because a master's student who is already there will not do that, but that could be just a cover-up also. So I'm not commenting it here. Coming back to creator economy, why I wanted to talk about this and relating it, that what exactly the students are doing, what your learners who are we talking about, the unemployability and employability and skills. And so 80 million creators and knowledge professionals are there. So how many of you are creating content right now? Any one of you? 1, 2. And I'll tell you a beautiful story that during 2020, when we were doing this, we had an open line for any teacher or any student or any parent to talk to us. And what happened there was those teachers who were not getting their salary, those parents who were not able to, so they shift to content creation. And they're doing pretty well. Whether it is being a chef, whether it is being gardening or whatever, so you can do that. And if you can check today, go and check about the top 20 educational influencers of India. That's what I would tell you to go for research about it. Now, 80K plus creators with 100K plus following on YouTube and Instagram. And 2,000 plus professional full-time content creators are there in India. This is Kalari report on content creation. And that's where can you put, and I'll tell you why and how NEP can be integrated very well into this. Now, independent creators build audiences and monetize their content, videos, music, art, etc. Now, I'm not saying that if you are a school educator or a leader, you have to tell the child of 13-year-old or 5-year-old that you start going on mobile and creating things about it. I'll tell what can be done in the last slide. Platforms like YouTube, Instagram, I'm not sure whether you know about Patreon, facilitate creator-audience connection that you can actually kind of digitally create the stuff and then you can sell it also to the different audience. Then estimated value of $1.3 trillion by 2025. We are sitting in 2024 with millions of active creators globally. And that's the target which we have to see, that how we as industry leaders, academic leaders, parents, social entrepreneurs, how we are going to help them in creating this kind of economy. Now, if you're wondering that it is not being done in India anymore, yesterday, the whole nomination for National Creators Award has been closed by Prime Minister. There was, I think there were seven, eight categories where you could have nominated yourself for this. So it has been identified by them. So any field you're going to talk about, whether it's, you can see a doctor today talking about his passion or her passion, and you will see that they talk in a very humorous manner about this. So that is content creation. That is kind of your visibility and audibility, I would call it, that, okay, yes, people are ready to listen to you because you are talking not in the classroom situation, but in a very different way. And the learners index has definitely gone higher if you talk about the IQ of the children. In school, the condition is completely reverse. 21% of students in India have made the dropout in grade 10. Where are they going? Some of them do in grade 8 also, some of them they do in the college dropout also. So I'm talking about grade 10 because that's the kind of a minimum level of learning which anybody should have. So where are they going? That's the place where they are joining. Because they understand the structured education system is not giving us the kind of output which they need to. That is preparing for life, as you rightly said in the previous panel. And people are hooked to content. How many of you are right now looking at your mobiles? Be honest. No. I can see that who is not looking at mobile because they're looking at me. So that's kind of obvious. But some... Yeah, the point, I'm not saying that when we cannot do this, how can we expect it from the younger generation? Just, yes, yeah. You have to be. I mean, are we teaching, when you say experiential learning comes from home, from school, from community. So are we actually imbibing those things in our younger generation when I say, and this is from 15 to 25-year-old youth I'm talking about here. Now, 108 minutes daily video consumption on YouTube. If you have iPhone, you can check it yourself that how much you are spending time on that. Just swiping over here and there, one news after the other, then maybe looking at the WhatsApp University, and suddenly we come to know that, okay, I've spent an hour. I should have used it in better manner. These are adults we are talking about. So how can you teach those younger ones, the youth, who are still adolescent and Maturity of an adolescent has, gone up to like 25. You are still not mature at 25, which was earlier 22 year. So that's the question, that when you are talking in the classroom, are you just having a linear kind of a movement in the classroom that, okay, yes, talk and chalk, maybe the smart boards? No, that's not the way. Whether it is engineers, whether in college or schools or wherever. Yesterday, I was talking to one of the students who studies in Noida. I'll not name the college, and he's doing computer sciences, and he said, I've not done nothing in coding. Third year student. When you have done nothing, the curriculum is perfect, the professors are perfect, then where is the gap? He said, ma'am, it's not interesting for me to see. I am not enjoying that because, and he's a musician, so I told him that why don't you do something with the music and use coding for that and maybe create some kind of a dream project for yourself. So are we really talking about these things in the classroom? Then education will have some meaning to each one of us. Yes, sir. Okay. No, I'm not saying that we are not doing. I mean, we are doing efforts. Sometime, yes, ma'am. Labs. Spoon feeding. Okay, right, I agree. I don't deny that because we have been in habit of being taught like that whatever teacher says, you have to listen to them, and then you have to just vomit it out in your exams. When people were talking about assessment here in the last panel discussion, I'll tell you what is the situation right now with the university. They are actually looking for some kind of a proctor kind of a program where the students can not cheat. That's the question. So even if you have, most of you have used even in front of screen if you are sitting, so they have frozen the screen. The students are that smart. So now you will not call this creativity. But are we using creativity in the right sense? Creativity, critical thinking, communication. These are the 3 C's which we all talk about in any which forum we go. But how are we teaching and how are we translating it into action is the question here. So if we, I'll skip this one. So total monthly views and daily content is 110 minutes consumption on leading homegrown audio platforms. And these are the homemakers, these are the first movers who never had the idea of Instagram or Facebook or maybe Twitter. So, stuck? Yeah. Yes, sir.
So now everyone is talking about that everything is going digital and all that, and we also understand that digital is future. So instead of asking people or saying that don't look at your mobile or don't use your mobile, because I don't think so that is possible.
You can't.
That maybe we should be focusing on that what you should look into the mobile instead of
True.
searching here and there and all that. Maybe what can contribute to your growth, you can filter those items in your mobile and then you can look into it.
Yes, of course. I mean, yes, it goes with the age group, like who you are catering to, and accordingly, the psychological milestones have changed for them. So cyber security, digital literacy, these are the buzzwords which are to be, and especially when you are watching the fake news. How many of you are aware of deep fake? Yeah, okay, so that's the threat which we are. So we have to move ahead of the time rather than saying that we should not give them mobiles, we should not give them gadgets, right? Now talking about creator economy here, this picture has been generated by someone called Gemini, the bard. So I asked a question that, okay, you have to give me a picture of creator economy, that what exactly it looks like. What is creator economy and what is the difference between creator and gig economy? Anyone has the idea about it? Gig economy and creator economy? Yes, sir.
Gig economy is like more like freelancing work.
Yeah.
So you go and you work on a specific project and then you are creative.
Okay, taken. So gig economy is basically side hustles, which some of us might be doing. And that's very, pardon me for saying that, that's famous for the government school teachers that they have a side business when they are teaching in the schools. So that kind. So side hustles are basically gig economy. But when you convert yourself into a full-time content creator, that you find that, okay, this is my niche and that's what, so that's the creator economy. And it can include every possible sector. You talk about any sector, whether it is pharma, whether it is engineering, whether it is mining, so that can be actually engulfed by creator economy. So this picture actually reflects when people talk about NEP 2020. And I'll give you one very interesting interaction which happened with me a few months before. I met a school principal. I would not call him a principal, but yes, he's running a kind of a educational business house. And the problem occurs at this point of time when you have no idea about education and you suddenly want to start with some kind of a school or institution without understanding that what exactly is the need of the students. So when I talked about that we work on the employability skills for the children, he said, why should I do it in my school? When we talk to the universities, why should they do it? Engineer has to be an engineer, coder has to be a coder, doctor has to be a doctor. Then who is going to teach them employability skills? And that's where Code Ninja, Hero Wired, Infinity Learn, these people, the edtechs, who have come like kind of cropped into during the pandemic time and filling up the gaps of skills. And if you have not watched, go and watch this, the edtech story, the Indian edtech story. I think all of you must watch it, see what is the current situation and what can be done. So if you have school institutions or maybe some place where you can actually cater to the needs of those who want to learn, in whichever way, that will be the way that we can see that we are achieving the sustainable development goal in 2030 for education, poverty, health, whichever, climate change. Because this is the answer for it. Now, NEP 2020, Shaping the Future Creators, talks about holistic education, focus on critical thinking, creativity, and communication. So can we teach like that? And I can go on for 4 hours and give you a kind of an interactive that how you can be a content creator. But I can't do that right now. Now, promotes multidisciplinary learning, which is kind of a Waldorf style of learning, where you are mixing up the subjects and talking about it. And then project-based activities, fostering innovation. This is from NEP, so you can read about it, but I've just put up like, when you are talking about vocational skills, we are not talking about plumbing, we are not talking about carpentry. Yes, we need them. That NSDC doing very well, nursing. If you think yourself as a premier institution, what you can teach them, give them the basic skills would be digital literacy. Technical skills like video editing, coding, and social media marketing. Then cultivating soft skills like communication, collaboration, and self-marketing with a caveat. Don't oversell yourself. That's what you have to teach them. And fostering creativity, critical thinking, and problem-solving abilities. Now, building a supportive ecosystem, collaboration between educators, industry experts, and platforms. That's very, very important. And that's why those who have come here today and tomorrow, that's the whole idea of having this kind of a meeting, conferences, events, networking. Don't look for a larger gathering. Just see that if you have 50 people or 20 people, are you really interacting with them, getting collaborated in different ways? That's the whole idea. Then fostering mentorship and networking opportunities for aspiring creators. Are we really teaching them networking? When you join on LinkedIn, so the message which has to be sent to the people across, that's the kind of communication and the networking which will happen, that whether you get the appointment or meeting time or something. So that's what. And mentor, who will teach them? We all. We all have to do that. Now, with this slide, I'll end my presentation. Now, the power of community is its flywheel. And I love this slide because it talks about that whatever you want to do in life, whatever your purpose is, this is how you can achieve. People are attracted to your purpose. If you are sitting in, like, say, 100 people sitting here, who you will be attracted to? The one who is talking sense, the one who is talking in your language, the one who is talking what you want to achieve in your life, the purpose. And then what you do is they join and become members. So can you create your campus ambassadors in school and colleges? Can we do that? The students taking the charge of content creation for you, and then they are talking about it. That's how this journey can move ahead. Then they get value from each other. So I learn from you, and you learn from me. That's the kind of a barter system which we can have together. The dollar definitely will come to you. They achieve things they did not think were possible. And this caters to the multiple intelligence of the learners. There is no learner left behind in this. So if you are an auditory learner, if you're a kinesthetic learner, if you are a hands-to-do learner or reader or writer, that's where it will cater to you. The content creation or the creator economy actually helps everybody flourish. And then, of course, they become ambassadors, bringing in more people. So if we are sitting here today, if we network right with each other, we join each other on LinkedIn, or maybe through the organizers here, then can we create a content for ourselves that, okay, this should be the way that the conference has to be designed. These are my feedback. How many of you actually give feedback to the attending conferences, the conferences which you are attending? That's the question. So with great tech comes great content. That should be the tagline for all of us, that we cannot go back, we cannot reverse the whole process which we have come far through, through pandemic as well, and otherwise also. And if you are thinking that you can remove students from the digital tech, it won't be possible. And then where the conflicts will happen. So that's all about creator economy from my side. I hope I've been able to give you just a gist of it, that let's not negate the presence of something which is already there and which is going to thrive in future. So let these younger, older, maybe those who are retired, so everybody can thrive in creator economy. That's the beauty of it. So can we create a community which will help us in reaching our goal of the third largest economy in the world? So with that, thank you so much for your patience listening.